Do you ever catch yourself wasting time, struggling to stay disciplined? You plan to be productive and maybe study or go do a workout or read your book, but somehow you end up glued to Netflix or scrolling on your phone. And so another day passes where you haven't stuck to your own word. And I get it, I used to be the same way. But then I discovered this one simple mindset shift that changed everything. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you how the key to building up self-discipline is to actually embrace boredom, and how boredom is actually your best friend and not your enemy. Imagine this, from today, we make a rule that I'm going to take away your TV, your phone, your laptop, and you're not allowed any internet access for the whole week. What would you do with your time? My guess is that many of us would end up feeling kind of lost and pretty bored. We'd probably come home from work, sit down on the couch, and then not really know what to do with ourselves. We'd be tapping our foot, looking at our watch, thinking how many hours until bedtime. But eventually, after some time, you would probably just find something else to do. You'd be so bored sitting there that you'd have to find something else to focus on. You might end up going into the kitchen and cleaning up the dishes that you've been avoiding. You might go into your bedroom and start organizing those pile of clothes that are on your floor. Or maybe you'd be like, oh, I have 2 hours to kill. Maybe I'll just go for a run to pass the time. And so by simply taking away the option of quick and easy entertainment, and by allowing yourself to sit in this boredom, this has then pushed you in the direction of having to seek something else to do. And this is the key to using your time more productively and becoming more self-disciplined. There's a quote that I like that says, most people's lives are determined by how they choose to cure their boredom. Because depending on how you choose to spend your free time, that is going to determine where you go in your life. Because the person who is bored and spends their free time working out is going to have a very different outcome in life from the person who is bored and spends all their time watching Netflix. The person who is bored and chooses to study for his course is going to have a very different outcome from the person who is bored and spends 5 hours on social media. Most of us end up indulging in these distractions simply because we are bored. And for many of us, it has become such an unconscious habit that any time we feel any hint of boredom, we reach for any device to fulfill that need, to give us some stimulation, to give us some entertainment, to give us some distraction, because it's easier in the short term. But although it's easier in the short term and it feels good in the moment, in the long term it's not easier. Because then when we look at our lives down the road, well, now we haven't managed to achieve anything. We haven't reached our goals or done any of the things that we said we were going to do. We haven't been productive, we haven't done those workouts, we haven't studied, and it's because we're not using our time wisely. And so here is where I want you to start thinking a bit differently about boredom. I want you to see boredom as a good thing, because boredom is going to help you to start being more productive and working on your goals only if you take away screens as your go-to option. In a way, we can think of it like this: boredom is the friend that nobody wants but everybody needs. You know that friend that tells you the honest truth and they have your best intentions at heart, but it doesn't always feel nice to hear in the moment. You're sitting there with nothing to do and you start to feel this uncomfortable feeling. Well, that's just Mr. Boredom creeping in, trying to nudge you in the direction of doing something productive. He's nudging you to go and clean your wardrobe that you've been avoiding. He's nudging you to go for that run or read your book, because he knows it's going to help you in the long term. Whereas most of us, well, we prefer the toxic relationship with our other dear friend, Mr. Social Media. Because this friend, well, he's funny. He is so entertaining. He's always there when you need him, and you can always rely on him to make you feel better in the moment. But he's also kind of toxic, because he ends up staying around way too much and wasting all of your time. And he knows that you have other responsibilities to do, but he doesn't care because he's selfish. And he wants you to constantly be with him. And so in the end, you end up sacrificing your priorities, your health, going to do that workout, being productive, cleaning up your house, starting that work project you keep saying you're going to do, because he's staying around way too often and taking up all of your time. And so he doesn't have your best intentions at heart in the long term, and he doesn't truly care about you. And so which friend would you rather choose? The friend of boredom, who in the moment might not always feel good to be around, but they have pure and good intentions for you, and you are guaranteed to become become a better and happier version of yourself because of them. Or the friend of social media who is nice to hang around with and they are really fun, but they don't truly care about you. They just use you in the short term for their own selfish needs. And in the long term, your life is going to decline. Your mental health will suffer and you will struggle to be disciplined and productive because of them. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I kind of thought that analogy was pretty good. And guess how I thought of it? Because I sat in boredom. You have to make a choice of which friend you choose. Because although we can all agree that boredom isn't a very nice feeling, hence why we tend to avoid it all the time, it is a necessary feeling to face in order to overcome the constant temptations of always needing to fill up our spare time with screens. Boredom is not something that needs to be feared. We have to learn how to be okay with feeling uncomfortable. No one ever died from boredom. It's just an uncomfortable emotion that is going to pass. Another great benefit of boredom is that it will also help to improve your creativity. Because when we have the space to think and we disconnect from constant distractions or external noise, this then gives our mind the freedom to imagine, to think, to dream, to come up with new ideas. And then you can use this creativity in more fulfilling and productive ways, such as pursuing a new hobby or interest, working on your art project, or maybe it can even help you with your presentation at work. A lot of us, when we're trying to be creative, we're always seeking outward to find inspiration. Let me look at some ideas online. Let me see what other people are doing. And this is okay to do sometimes. But what many of us don't do is take the time to seek inward by just taking some time away from constant input, taking time away from the constant noise and distractions, and actually giving our mind the space to think and allow it to process things. Because trust me, this is when better and original ideas will then come to you. This is when your creativity will reach new levels and other areas of your life will improve because of it. And so boredom is your friend. It is not your enemy. It might not feel good in the moment, but it is good for you. Because when you learn to sit with that uncomfortable emotion, it is going to push you to prioritize other activities instead of you just reaching for that quick and easy solution of screens. Click here to learn a very simple and effective discipline method that can help you in times when you are struggling with motivation or feeling overwhelmed. I hope this video helped you in some way. Thank you for watching.